Joining me at Fair's booth here at Feet to Fire 2022, I have with me Congressman Brian Babin from Texas. Congressman Babin is a veteran, a dentist, and a Texas native. He's been in Congress since 2015, and he's a member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure and the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. First off, Congressman Babin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ron. Good to be with you.
It's great to be here as well. Hey, tell me about this event so far. Have you been having some good interviews, meeting some good people?
We have. We're talking all over the country. That's the value of this, the way you guys have this thing set up. We've talked to Wisconsin, we've talked to New York, we've talked to Seattle, Washington, and
all
it's
over
just
the
wonderful.
place.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to the news outlets that are here to get the truth out, because on the border situation, it's being blacked out by most of the mainstream media. Thank you for getting the truth out, because Americans are getting ready to make a decision in November, and they have to make a wise decision, because our country is headed in a direction that I think is going to lead to disaster.
Yeah.
And the border is one of the worst problems.
Of course. And, that's part of the reason we hold this event here. We want to make sure we're holding the Biden administration's feet to the fire when it comes to the immigration issue, because we all know right now, their border policy, it seems like there is none. When it comes to, almost anything illegal immigration related, it seems like Biden came into office day one, kind of undid everything that Trump did, and then from then on out, hasn't really paid attention to the issue. So, I had a couple questions here for you. I wanted to know, what are the immigration policies that you think are in the best interest of the American people? What kind of things do you think we need to change? What things are good? What do you want to see?
Well, under President Trump, the policies that were implemented were wonderful. Was the border completely secure under President Trump? No, but it was better than it had ever been, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And the Biden administration, contrary to what they were told by some of the professionals in the Trump administration, don't get rid of these policies. Build the wall. Continue with Title 42. Continue on with, remain in Mexico. And those are the things that President Trump and his people did. And they had the cooperation, and they forced, not willingly, some of the Northern Triangle countries and Mexico did not want to do some of these things. But let me tell you, Trump knows how to work a deal.
Oh, yeah.
And he can turn the heat up under the feet of these nations, and they came to the table wonderfully. Unfortunately, under the Biden administration, they totally ignored every bit of advice that was given to them. And now we've got a situation that's the worst border crisis in the history of the United States of America, where we've had over 4 million people come in. And that includes, probably some of the 800,000 gotaways, overwhelming our educational systems in the state of Texas, our healthcare facilities, the crime that's going on. We've got our own domestic, homegrown criminals.
Yeah.
And now you add thousands and thousands of convicted illegal alien criminals that have served time, committed crimes in the United States, served time in the United States, been deported, and now come back in again only to be caught. And 78 suspected terrorists have been caught. Coming in as well. How many have not been caught? That's what I worry about, Ron.
Exactly. We got to worry about that gotaway number. As the FAIR study said, we have over 900,000 gotaways that we've witnessed at the border just in this fiscal year alone.
That's right.
So, we have a huge problem with that. We don't know what their intentions are. And, we look at July numbers alone. We had almost over 60, people who are on the terrorist watch list who ended up being caught at our border, beaten the past 4 years combined. It's, absolutely wild what's going on right now. And we have all these criminals coming in. You did touch on something that I thought was interesting, the healthcare perspective of letting in all these illegal immigrants.
This is the new D.C. city song right here. We're listening to it. Sorry about that.
Of course. Hey, after we get those buses in town, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Mayor Bowser doesn't like this. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course. After, we look at 2 cries for help from the National Guard trying to come in. I mean, it's just absolutely wild.
Look what 50 did in Martha's Vineyard. They had to call out the National Guard. Can you imagine? 50 people came in illegally. We get that in about 5 minutes down on our southern border in Texas.
Yeah, and imagine if Biden ended up deporting, the people coming across the border the same way they deported them from Martha's Vineyard within 24 hours.
I know.
How would that be?
Total hypocrisy, Ron.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. So, something else I wanted to know is, part of being the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, obviously a big part of your role in Congress here. What do you think illegal immigration is putting a tax on our infrastructure for? Do you think it's causing issues, or is it letting more people in? What do you think?
Huge. It's huge. I have the third fastest growing school district in the state of Texas. And the reason is because of children of illegal immigrants that have come in. They're lovely kids. Many of them are doing a fine job in school, but it puts an enormous burden on the taxpayers of the great state of Texas. In fact, I represent 9 counties in southeast Texas, Houston over to Louisiana, basically. Of those 9 counties, 7 of my counties have already passed county resolutions calling it an invasion at the border. Okay. Because of the problems that they're seeing all around the country and in our part of the state. Every state is a border state now. Really, every county is a border county now.
Yeah, of course, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, we look at it, we were talking about the buses a little bit while those sirens were going by, coming from, coming from Texas, coming from Arizona, coming from Florida, shipping them on up here, and, we see cities like New York City, millions of people in the city, and they're not able to handle a few thousand migrants. What are they thinking down in Eagle Pass, Texas? Places like your district. I mean, what are we talking about there? The load that these cities have to try to bear.
It is enormous, and, one thing, I was headed there, and I kind of lost track, but the cost of illegal immigration to the United States now, this just came out the other day, is about $20 billion a year. That's what it's costing us. And that is $4 billion more than the total cost of Trump's border wall.
Yeah.
Think what we would have saved had Biden gone ahead and finished the wall that Congress has already voted to appropriate the funds for. And the materials are just lying there, rusting away down there. And they say walls are inhumane and immoral. As they say these types of things, we see Biden spending millions putting a wall around his vacation home. Obama, the same thing up there near Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
We see Pelosi behind walls. If walls are so immoral, why do they live behind walls? Yeah. Walls work. They make for good neighbors. Yeah, and that's what we need.
If we're using that $20 billion on illegal immigrants, what do you think that could go for to maybe help, homeless veterans?
Absolutely. As a veteran myself, I mean, it just tears at my heartstrings to see homeless veterans living in tents, not being cared for, not getting the benefits that they actually earn by wearing the uniform and standing up for our freedoms. And yet we see illegal aliens coming in, getting free education, free health care, free cell phones, a ticket to anywhere they want to go in the United States. And it's laughable when you these people that are going coming here to D.C. or to Chicago or up to Mayor Adams in New York or Martha's Vineyard. Every one of those individuals, those illegals, signed a paper saying they volunteered to go. They knew where they were coming, and 50 of them, the Martha's Vineyard folks in Massachusetts, I mean, they basically kind of went a little over the edge by calling out the National Guard, and now within 1 week, those illegal entries, those illegal people that broke the law coming in, are now filing a suit against Florida and Governor DeSantis. I mean, wrap your head around that. That's like a bank robber having the government provide him a lawyer to sue the bank.
Exactly.
To sue the police department. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, of course. And, I think one of the funny things about that case is that they're trying to say that he's doing something wrong when all of them voluntarily said they would go. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I know I would love a free trip to Martha's Vineyard. I mean, why not? Why would you not be jumping on the plane to get over there?
Absolutely. And ironically, here we are at the end of the Martha's Vineyard season up there, and I imagine there was a lot of vacancies that they could have put these people in, and yet very quickly they were bussed out of there.
Yeah, of course. They blame not having the resources, but I mean, when you have a median income like that place, how do you not have resources for that? I mean, if they're expecting places like your hometown to be fronting the burden of all this,
That's right.
How is this affecting your district? Tell me a little bit.
It's one of the top issues in my district. I think the American people see what's happening. I think probably the top issue would be inflation, the cost of gasoline, food, and the cost of living. But I can tell you the crime that has come on as I said a while ago, our own homegrown domestic criminals, add the thousands and thousands of illegal alien criminals that are coming in to that. And you've got people that don't feel safe in their neighborhoods. I mean, I was just standing right here talking to some staffers with my staffers here behind me. You don't go to this train station at night here anymore. There's a crime wave going all over this nation, but primarily in the blue cities and blue states and blue counties. That's where the criminal activity is happening. Democrat DAs, Democrat state district judges, it's a revolving door. Somebody will be the police will do their job, but they're out on the streets within hours on personal recognizance, low bail, to commit more criminals. I represent part of Houston. Nearly 200 people have died in Houston from recidivism, who have been out on bail, murdered before, and then they get out, allowed out by a Democrat judge to go out and kill some other innocent person. This is what's happening. These DAs, George Soros, no wonder he funds so many of these district attorney races around the country, including Houston. Obviously, they want to see chaos.
No, it's a crisis. It's a crisis, and we definitely want to see an end to
Right.
it. I know you and I both do. But, I think we're up against it here. I think that's all the time we have for today. We really appreciate you joining us here, and I hope you all join us on the next Understanding Immigration.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate
Have a
it.
good one.
God bless.
So don't step in front of the line of those who still stand there and doing the right thing, filling out paperwork, giving background checks. I went through 6 years of medical tests. I had to have money, I had to have a sponsor, I had to speak some English, understand English, know about the government a little bit. And now you have people just jump in the line, getting in front, asylum, I'm scared. And here it is. And while the rest of them who doing it the right way have to wait. And in the meantime, we're being played, and we're being invaded and destroyed from within.
So I hope, and I do always possess hope, that with a new administration, even with the new Congress, to peel back that layer of transparency and shed light into what's happening right now in these policies that are being put in place that are creating this horrible incentive for folks to come to this country illegally.
Art Del Cueto. Art's with the Border Patrol. He's been there since 2003.
When I do these things, I speak on behalf of the National Border Patrol Council, not the agency. And that's important because if I spoke on behalf of the agency, you would just get a cookie-cutter dog and pony show answer. And I'd rather tell you the truth. We are supposed to patrol our nation's borders, although lately what we're doing more is babysitting. And it's upsetting to see the direction that we are headed as a country. We always saw the problems that we would see on the border, but now those problems have expanded.